Good afternoon. My name is Lily Lane, and again, it is a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to welcome you all tonight. At this time, we're going to have Lift Every Voice and Sing.
You have to get a chair. I'm gonna put the speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Derrick. Thank you very much. Now, at this time, we're going to have a presenter, Dr. Foster Larbi, to do his presentation at this time for us. And Dr. Will you tell us a little about yourself, please?
Good evening, good morning from Ghana to all people out there. Most gracious and most honored to be amongst you today to have a presentation done in recognition of Black History Month celebrations, taking back to our histories. I'm most honored and most privileged to be here. as my name has already been made known, the sub-Saharan African continent that we are much privileged and so much happy and lucky to be from. The Black accent, people with a Black descent or people with a Black accent. Currently, as we speak, as if I should say, with a continent with it's a continent with about 60%. Yeah, the continent Africa, for which we are much privileged and so lucky to be part or to be from, is, if I should say, the continent with basically the most youth, because a continent of about 1.2 billion or 1.5 billion population with 60% of the population being youth is quite a huge number of youth in the continent as we speak now. It's a continent with diverse human and natural resources. Currently, Africa has the world's largest free trade area of about 1.2 billion personal market. And honestly, the continent is on the path of creating an entirely new developmental agenda by harnessing the potential of its resources and people. But as the saying goes, Oliver always asks for more, and a lot more needs to be done and can be done in this very time of ours that we are championing a very strong developmental agenda. When it comes to the income status on the continent, we have people living with lower income status. We have people living with lower middle income status, people with upper middle income status and higher income status comparatively to countries on the continent. The continent, as we speak, it's a continent that has 22 countries being fragile or conflict affected, 13 of which are small states characterized by population, limited human capital, and confined land areas. So indeed, Africa as a continent currently is making a lot of strides in terms of developmental agendas by various countries, especially you talk of the Eastern African countries, some of the Western African countries are really making a lot of impacts as far as developmental agendas are concerned. But fast forward in being hit by the pandemic in the last 2 years, if I should say, which Africa cannot be left out, even though we are lucky to be one of the continents that's had, let me say, fewer cases, because you can't take away South Africa, which was so much hit on the continent here. You know, the economy on the continent was said to just get back out of the pandemic, to be expanded by 3.3% sometime back in 2021, which is still economics and experts are still making projections, though we've not yet come back from the pandemic as how much we were being hit. Notwithstanding that, amidst all this crisis, some countries have made bold decisions and bold steps by implementing and employing a lot of reforms to increase inclusive growth over the long term. We can talk of Nigeria, you can talk of Ghana, you can talk of Kenya, Rwanda, making some beautiful reforms, of which some of these reforms are the unification of the exchange rate in Sudan, which happened, fuel subsidy reforms in Nigeria, opening and then expansion of the telco sector to the private sector in Ethiopia. You know, a lot of reforms are happening on the continent. Some of the reforms are addressing digital infrastructure gaps and making digital economy more inclusive, ensuring affordability and building skills for all segments of society, and a lot more, boosting digital technology adoption and generating more and better jobs for men and women on the continent. So to speak, Africa was really thriving on one kind, let me say, on a positive part. The very issue or the major challenges that we are facing, that a lot of industries and manufacturing companies are springing all over Africa, but you go back and the issue is, who are the owners of these companies that are springing up on the continent? You dig down and you get to know that these people are still white people. The Chinese taking over, the Japanese taking over, the Germans taking over, the Americans taking over, the UK taking over. So indeed, developmental agendas are going on, but at the end of the day, we are still building the economies which are already developed. So in one way or the other, we are being used as still machines, workaholics to build their own economies, where we have these natural resources and human resources in which we can put so much and great opportunities to build our own continent. But here's the case, we are being used in the current state. When you use the word slaves, you are known to be someone else. But truth be told, we are still being used as slaves to build the British economy, the American economy, the Chinese economy, the German economy, the European economy, to be specific. We are the ones still building it for them with our own natural resources here. The question, you go back to the question, is like, what is not being done right? Who is supposed to do it and not doing it, and what can be done? So most often when I get such opportunities like this to speak to the world, I make appeal to people with Black descent who are in the Western world, who have made impacts, who have made some good living and can come back into their countries or come back onto the continent to help in these developmental agendas that some good leaders on the continent are initiating. It's going to help the cause. It's going to help build Africa faster as we want in doing all these things. Talk of education on the continent. Yes, Africa, dating back the late 19th and dating back in the 18th and 19th centuries, coming down into our 20th century and 21st century, education has really seen a great impact, a great improvement. Technical and vocational education is receiving massive support from various governments and various countries. High school educations are receiving a lot of financial interventions from different countries. Ghana cannot be left out with the presidential initiative of making high schools free for all citizens who are really ready to enter into high schools, which has seen 1.2 million increase in high school population, a very huge number. So currently, you come to Ghana, unless you say you are not going to school, if you are only ready to study, the opportunities are there for you to utilize. And Kenya is doing same. Some countries, Rwanda, some more countries are replicating, and it's a great impact. And we are just hoping these ones who are passing out from these various institutions are coming out with a Black mentality, not the Western mentality. Because as we speak, we have some Blacks who still thinks as the white and assisting the Western world to steal off. You can't say steal, but you have to steal. That is what is happening. Yeah, that's what is happening. So we are just hoping and praying that these people who are coming out of these institutions are going to be African leaders and not Western-minded people. You can't talk of this without talking of the pharmaceutical industry, because the reason why African medicine and our health is not making so much impact is as a result of how our pharmaceutical giants on the continent here are conniving, going in bed with these Western pharmaceutical companies to do what pleases them. So a lot more needs to be done, and a lot more sensitizations needs to be done to be able to make sure our people are being psyched to have the African mentality as Kwame Nkrumah had, some Marcus Garvey's had, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s and co had. That is what we are still anticipating to have on the continent as we keep going next 5, 10, 15 years ahead of us. one of the backbones of the African continent is agriculture, which you can't have any opportunity without talking about agriculture on the continent, because we are supposed to grow what we eat, and then heal ourselves with our African herbs and local stuffs here. So, on the continent, agriculture is seeing improvement, but a lot more needs to be done, because we are being threatened by these Chinese, especially when it comes to Ghana. These Chinese are taking over lands which could be used for agricultural purposes and doing all sort of mining activities, all sort of activities not yielding to the growth of agriculture. So that's another opportunity, as I always say, when I get the chance to talk to the world, people in the Western world of Black descent have also opportunities to come down here to also invest their wealth and invest their resources, form consortiums, form groups, and come, and the opportunities are there, because we need to build it by our own selves. Until when are we going to let these people who have inhumane attitudes and inhumane mindset for Africa continue depleting our lands and our resources and all stuff like that? If you say we are sitting back in the US, sitting back in the Caribbean, sitting back in the UK and the European, we always talk about it. We are not going to end this fight, achieve anything. So at every point in time, we should be able to come back home, form consortiums, form groups. The opportunities are there. Numerous ones are there for us to utilize to make Africa the great that we want Africa to be. So yes, much needs to be done in the agriculture sector. Much more needs to be done. A country like Ghana, where the government has a policy of planting for export, meaning there are a lot of vast lands for investment in the agriculture sector. So I use this opportunity to call on well-meaning and well-thinking Africans and who have African development at their heart and can't sleep when they hear Africa to come down and then invest a lot into the agriculture sector, because food security is a threat which we can't joke with. We go to some part of the continent, the Nigers, some parts are really suffering. And if we can grow and then feed our own people, I think it's a good thing that we have to do. So agriculture is making great impact, but a lot more needs to be done, because the population of Africa keep increasing. And as the population is increasing, food must increase. If food must increase and we are not the one producing the food by giving out our lands to these people to come and deplete it and destroy it, then I think all these conferences and symposiums and workshops that we are holding outside the continent, excuse me, is one way or the other becoming meaningless. So we just have to come back into our homes. Talk of health on the continent. Talk of health on the continent. Everybody here will agree with me that by the advent of recession of COVID-19, Africa has been known to be one of the continents that has done a lot of impact as far as COVID is concerned, by trying every possible means to adapt to our local herbs, our local treatment, and our local medications and stuff. That is one thing that I always take the chances to always advocate, to talk to people about that. We have to take up our medicine. I'm re-echoing on this platform again that I'm looking for the people who form together with me the movement of the African Health Organization and not the World Health Organization, because we cannot still be colonized, so to speak, by treaty conventions that have been signed. A lot more can be done. Africa must have its own health organizations to regulate our health. If we are able to have this, we are good to go. We don't have issues with the Western pharmaceutical who don't have any instinct and not signing on to any effect of any vaccine that they are trying to introduce onto the continent for us. Like there's a lot more that can be done when it comes to health, because health is a very big issue. We have malaria to deal with on the continent. We have a lot of issues, a lot of health issues to deal with on the continent here. So yes, government are doing their best. Ghana government as out of the COVID enrolled what we call Agenda 111, which they are trying to build hospitals across the country. Some district or municipalities we didn't get hospitals out of COVID. The government is trying its possible best to build hospitals to serve its to serve the citizen. But on a more serious note, we can't build hospitals and still not be built or still not be able to manufacture or produce our medicine. What is missing in the herbal pharmaceutical industry in Africa? Is it our branding? Is it our packaging? Is it formulation? What is it? A lot more research can be done, can be dealt into it to be able to come up with what is needed to be able to compete in the Western market, because we have the in the pharmacology, like going deep down into pharmacology, the kinetic energies of the herbs we have in Africa here are far much higher and better and more efficacious than what we have in the Western world. But we sit on Africa, we sit on the continent here, and we are buying herbal products from the Western world. Is that what we have to do? No, we have to sit up in the herbal pharmaceutical industry and then know what is right for us. If we are going back into our history, the Bible makes us understand that if we are going back to the ancient days, we are going to enjoy and live long, and we are going to be more prosperous. So what are we waiting for? In Ghana, we have another dish called Sankofa, meaning we have to go back. So we have to go back. People in the Western world, people in the Caribbean, people in the US, people in the UK, it is time for you to Sankofa. It is time for you to come back, because it's long overdue. It's long overdue. You stayed over. Come and let us build the pharmaceutical industry in Africa. And then we can produce our own medicine, take care of our own people, and then we will have an end to many ailments and many health challenges that the continent is being confronted with. I always ask the question that why is it that in the world, the people with the highest numbers of cancers, the highest number of diabetes, highest number of BP are the people who are manufacturing BP and diabetes and drugs for us on the continent here? If they have what is best, why can't they use it to treat their own people, by rather pushing it onto us and helping them building their own economies like that? It's something that it's something we cannot sit to watch happen. We need to sit up and take up what belongs to us. Medicine is for Africa. I don't think we can treat medicine right now. We can treat the history of medicine. You get to understand that even paracetamol, as we know, was all we get from the willow plant. You can go back to history and then go back to medical history and read from our medical fathers, and then you get to understand what it is that we need to take it up to ourselves, that medicine is for ours, and we need to take it up and go higher as we go. Luckily enough, my partners in Chicago, together with me, are going to build one of the biggest herbal pharmaceutical industries in Ghana soon. A lot more of this is what we are calling for. The resources are there, the lands are there for you to go into all these opportunities. Come home and build, and let us help build our continent. So with the present state of the African continent dating back in our history, we've come along far. We are making strides. We are making impact, making growth. One thing that is missing, and that is about to miss, and on the way of missing, is our culture that the Western is trying to invade onto the continent with Western styles. You go on the internet and it's almost it's everywhere. It's homosexuality is everywhere, LGBTQ something that you sometimes even face out to even call on the internet or call on radio into the world like this. Like these things are coming to take off the discipline that we were born with, the discipline that Africa was born with, the numerous blessings that Africa was born with. These things are coming gradually to take it off and just to get it out and introduce us to things that we are not used to. So we must take up our culture. We must be able to understand what it is for us as Africans. You work in the UK, you work in the US, you meet an African who don't even understand his language, his country dialect. He can't even speak it. All he can speak is French, or he can speak is English. The second languages have become our first languages, which is so sad for us as Africans in the continent. So we need to really sit up and do, if we are going to keep on celebrating Black History Month, it should have an impact on the African continent. So Black History Month, as at the end of the Black History Month celebration, there should be a great impact on the continent. We should see the diaspora coming onto the continent to invest. We should see people with great impact, intellectuals, professionals coming onto the continent to help, because the agenda is an all-inclusive growth agenda. The purpose is much more appreciated, but a lot more needs to be done. On this very note, I think I would want to end the presentation here. For maybe there could be one or two questions from persons. If not, with your permission, Dr. Derek, I think I would want to emphasize on a special initiative that myself and a group of people are embarking on, which is African Language Studies Group or African Language Studies School, which is happening online. We are piloting to have Ghana language and Swahili studied on within the Caribbeans or whatever for African descent, because a lot of people always want to touch on the motherland. You have to be able to have a basic language on the motherland. You have to be able to buy on the street. You have to be able to communicate, introduce yourself, know who you are in your motherland. And the language cannot be left out as far as we want to promote our culture and our traditions. So it's at this point, I want to emphasize on it. And persons who are interested and who will be interested to sign up to the class would contact me. I will want to leave my number on the group chat, or if possible, Dr. Derek will leave my number in the group chat. And then persons who will join or sign up to the African Language Studies class will sign up, and then will be of great impact. Not just the language alone, a lot of cultural studies will be learned as well. At this point, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Derek and the team that put up this conference together. Much grateful. Thank you all.
You're most welcome, Dr. Foster, and we turn it back over to Lily Lane.
Thank you, Dr. Foster, for that information. Thank you so much. Now, do we have any questions? Anyone with a question, will you just raise your hand and we can recognize you? Because we have two other speakers for us tonight. I don't see any hands. Let me see if there's something in the chat. No, I don't see anything in the chat either, except the fact, Dr. Foster, they're thanking you for the information, your presentation. And again, thank you very much, because Dr. Derek said what time it is there. And I can imagine you're probably ready to go to bed or already in bed. So thanks again for being with us tonight. Thank you so much. We're going to, I don't know if, beg pardon?
I have something to say.
Oh, okay. I didn't see your name. I'm so sorry. All right, go right ahead.
Yeah, good evening. I just want to thank you for this program of African disease. Mr. Derek, he has done it for us. So what doctor has said is reality. It's good that every father, mother, if you are in your house, to speak the language so that the children should understand it. There are many outside now crying why they don't know their language, which is only English, French that has spoiled it. So I just want to say thank you so much for all this. I understand it very well. Well, thank you so much. Mhm. Thank you. That's all.
You're quite welcome. And thank you also. Thank
Mm.
you very much for your comments. Thank you. So, Ms. Harrison, if you are ready, we're ready to hear you.
Hello and good evening to everyone, and good morning to those of you who are experiencing tomorrow already. That was an interesting presentation by the doctor. And I would like to just observe all protocols and thank Dr. Derek and his team for inviting me to share with you this evening. Here in Jamaica, we have similar internet challenges, and so if while I'm speaking, you're unable to hear me, please let me know. It means that I would have to just come off of video so that at least you will be able to hear my voice.
We can hear you very well.
You can hear me. Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, so I am a Jamaican, a little Jamaican country girl, born in the hills of St. Andrew, which is just outside of Kingston, Kingston being our capital. And was blessed to be born with this unique color and with a father and a family that was really sensitive to issues concerning persons of color.
Sure.
And they laid the foundation for me to be doing a lot of the things that I'm currently doing. I am currently Director of Projects and Outreach with the Jamaica Luminary Secretariat, and I will explain just what that means in a little while. But we are a group of similar-minded individuals who are seeking to create new conversations for persons of color. We're seeking to create economic opportunities and create generational wealth using a new financial vehicle called the Lumi, which it has been uniquely created for persons of color and for their empowerment financially. And so before I go on into the presentation, I would ask Dr. Derek to assist me, if possible, to share a video that will give you a little background on who we are and what we're doing.
Our sun. It has been burning for over 4.5 billion years, and yet, it is still less than halfway through its life. Worshipped by many civilizations and religions, it is the enabler and sustainer of all life on our world. The great continent of Africa. Truly, it is the cradle of life on our planet, and today it is home to many people and cultures. Bathed in sunlight, its jungles, deserts, mountains and plains have given rise to, and support, a rich diversity of wildlife. Africa is also rich in precious metals, minerals and agricultural resources, which have given rise to the wealth of industries and nations. But this wealth has not been wholly to the benefit of the nations of Africa, as this excerpt, from a speech by Malance Bart Williams, from Sierra Leone, suggests.
One thing that keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities, the following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves?
With all its mineral wealth, plus the abundance of daily sunlight, Africa has the ability to become an economic powerhouse. And this starts with creating a unifying, global non-fiat currency, one with real intrinsic value. Introducing the African Kingdom's Lumi, a non-fiat digital currency that is underwritten by an established unit value, equating to 100 kilowatt-hours of solar energy, at a market value equal to 0.2592 grams of gold, which equates to $15 and 96 cents per AK Lumi. The AK Lumi is classic money with the following features. 1. It is a store of value. 2. It is a unit of account. And 3. It is a medium of exchange. It is interesting to note that the most valuable currencies in the world are not the US dollar or the euro, but the Kuwaiti dinar, the Bahraini dinar, and the Omani riyal. This is because these semi-fiat currencies are underpinned by a correlation between their monetary policies and their hydrocarbon-based economies. The AK Lumi, being underpinned by gold and/or renewable solar energy, thus abandons the fiat currency system altogether and establishes its value as a premium currency on the global market, whilst restoring real value to African monetary policy. On the 1st of August 2019, the Economic Community of States, Nations, Territories and Realms of the African Diaspora Sixth Region, or ECO6, was established by treaty and ratified by its member states. The ECO6 has become the second largest African institution in the world, after the African Union. The establishment of the ECO6 enables the African diaspora community to actively participate in the economic transformation, trade integration, and emancipation of continental Africa at a global level. The introduction of the AK Lumi as a single global African currency will stimulate unprecedented economic growth and the elimination of debt. As of April 2021, the AK Lumi was being used in some 142 countries, and by the beginning of 2022, it is expected that the adoption and use of the digital currency will become global. The AK Lumi will not only unite Africans across the continent and throughout the diaspora, but will also give them the financial freedom and respect that has been unrighteously usurped for too long. The economic revolution has already begun, and it will ultimately foster enhancements in business, international trade, employment, quality of life, education, health services, technology, communications and transportation. And so the goal of a prosperous Africa, built by Africans, for Africans, can finally be realized. The African Kingdom's Lumi. Bringing unity, self-determination, financial freedom, growth, prosperity and the elimination of debt to all people of Africa.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. All right. So the Lumi, which was mentioned in that short video, is the financial vehicle that has been created by a Jamaican, Timothy McPherson, to begin a new type of financial conversation for persons of color. All of our dreams, all of our aspirations, anything that we imagine that we want to do as individuals or as a collective has to begin with equitable terms. The Lumi has been designed to be that instrument that creates that financial equitable playing field that we can all begin this new conversation with. And so I'll tell you a little bit about its origins. Timothy McPherson is an individual of Jamaican parentage. He grew up in Canada, very bright young man, became part of the financial market space globally, where his role was training persons in international banking. As a result, he became part of the team of people who worked to create the European euro for those countries when they recognized that having a singular currency with which to negotiate globally was one that would empower them all equally. Coming away from that experience, he recognized the importance of having such a similar tool available to persons of color wherever they may be on the planet. And so came back home to Jamaica and to the Maroon communities of which he's a descendant. And there began the engineering of what is now the Lumi. As you were introduced to it just now in that brief video, the Lumi is backed by African Kingdom's gold. It is regulated and monitored by the Central Bank of Africa and their regulatory body. It now has a value which is greater than that of the US dollar, which it is 15.96 US dollars to purchase one lumi. It means that that new financial conversation can now begin. What the leadership of the organization, you would have heard mentioned ECO6. ECO6 represents all 6 regions within which persons of color now exist. Those regions include all 5 of Africa: East, West, North, South, and Central Africa, the 6th region being the diaspora. Because the desire and the reason that the Lumi was created was so that persons of color, wherever they may be financially empowered. One of the first things that was done was the creation of a stimulus program. It has been funded by $6 trillion, and it guarantees that anyone of color or anyone else, regardless of where they may be on the planet, that chooses to open their Lumi account, their digital online banking account, will receive in that account every month the equivalent of $100 US in Lumi. That equivalent amount is 6.26 Lumi. The stimulus program is aimed at beginning the journey, our journey towards new financial empowerment and generational wealth. With a singular currency, we can now, once it becomes available to everyone, have new conversations at any table. Dr. Larbi was just speaking about health and wellness and languages and all of the different things that need to happen in our communities globally. And as a result of the strategic, economic, and deliberate social structures that we have been given to work with as persons of color, we find ourselves, many of us, still unable to satisfy even those basic needs, which they teach you about the hierarchy of needs that we all have. Many of us are still looking for homes and financial security and proper education and all of these things. And so it's important, cannot be underestimated, the importance of having a vehicle that is created singularly for persons of color, that can be used by these persons of color wherever they may be to engender new wealth. And so a lot of things have been planned, not only for the continent, but the diaspora. There are plans afoot for all types of different development, smart cities, investing in energy, in transportation, in communication, and in education. All of these things are being planned. Currently, the preliminary phase, which is the disbursement of the Lumi to persons wherever they may be, is still ongoing. That program is a 3-year one, which ends in September of 2023, September or October of that year. And so the race is on to ensure that as many persons as possible become aware of this new instrument that will take us into 2023, 2024 and beyond. I think Dr. Derek gave me 5 to 10 minutes. And so I don't want to speak for too long. I do know, however, that I have said some things which may be very new to some of you, And so I will pause for any questions before I move on to just tell you how you can get your Lumi.
That was gonna be my question.
Okay, right. Okay. All right, it's very, 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 very easy.
Any other questions? Anyone
Yes.
else have a question? If not, you may
Okay.
continue.
Yeah.
Let me just thank you very much, Director Ruach. Really appreciate the presentation, and I see your hand is up already. But let me just say, first of all, this is not a business.
Right.
This is not a business. We're not introducing anyone to any business. This is an inheritance, so to speak, from the African diaspora. We who can trace, especially we who can trace our heritage back to Africa, and really and truly, I think every one of us can trace our roots back to Africa, really and truly, because when personally, I know a lot of people might not believe the Bible, but personally, I believe that the continent of Africa was where the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve and so on and all of that, that's where it all started. And so when you get to the flood with Noah, that's where they basically were. And so when those 8 persons also came out of the ark, then which it's, Noah and his wife and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, those are the 4 families that actually started right there in Africa. And so really and truly, technically speaking, if you believe in the Bible, then and history, then all persons came out and go up, go down, go across, go over, especially after the Tower of Babel, so everyone scattered from there. And so all nations, up, down, left, right, north, south, east, west, came from that motherland. And most of us refer to it as the motherland. And so all of us originally from that diaspora. So just want to make that clear. It's not a business. There's no business opportunity. No one is inviting you to any business opportunity. Just want to make that clear to everyone. Thank you very much, Lily. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Derek, for clearing that up for us. Okay, we have one hand, Dr. Doris. Will you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm speaking from Ghana. It's 2 a.m. here. So good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
My son is in Florida. His wife is from St. Thomas, the island, and they have their family there at Florida. I invited them with the Zoom link, but wanted them to hear this particular program. Thank you all very much. I want to ask a question about the Luna. Is it a token? I heard you said, is it crypto? Is it a token, or how can we get it? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Doris, for your question. And before I answer, I just want to agree and with Dr. Derek in his statement.
We also want the link.
And the link. All right. So I'll be sharing all of that. And you see, I also believe that we are where everything began. And not just biblically. We now have science and genealogy that is proving that all races were born out of the Black DNA, you know, and so we have a lot to celebrate. It means that we are the originators of all science and technology and architecture, and you name it, we originated it. And because for whatever reason, we have gone through this 400-year experience of being moved from our place of origin to inhabit strange lands with new customs. And, you know, how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? And so we have forgotten our language and many of the things that are our truth. But one thing we cannot forget is every day we look in the mirror, you know, and the color of our skin and what that spiritual DNA means. And so we're going through a process now as a people where we are waking up and we are coming out of this 400-year experience. And many persons are being empowered creatively and otherwise to put things in place to facilitate those of us who want to now embrace a new type of experience. And such gave birth to the creation of the Lumi. It is not a business, it is an opportunity. When the Lumi moved from Jamaica to the continent of Africa, the kingdoms there embraced it wholeheartedly and endorsed it and supported it and backed it with their goals. And their banking, central banking system is now the body that regulates it. It is currently a digital currency. It is not a cryptocurrency. And it is probably one of the most unique digital currencies that there are available right now. In my knowledge, it is the only one that is backed by anything of value. All other cryptocurrencies are you know, gain their value via trade on the stock exchange. You know, unlike the Lumi, which is Lumi, L-U-M-I, which is backed by something of value, and so already has predetermined its place. Once we move from out of the stimulus period and into active trading with the Lumi, whether amongst ourselves or via the market spaces, the FX trading, its value will only increase, all right? And so to get it, because of the stimulus program, there is no cost for you to get it. You only need to go to swifin.com, and I will put that link in the chat, or you can reach out to myself or anyone in the Jamaica Luminaire Secretariat, and we will guide you as to how to create your online digital account to receive your Lumi. And it is dispersed once per month on the 28th of every month. You will receive that stimulus in the account. It is not retroactive, however. And so if you're just coming on, you would have missed the stimulus that has been given for the months before. It started in October of 2020. You, however, will be benefiting from the stimulus that is now due and those to come. And so the link to all of this is platform.swifin.com. All right, so currently I'm just putting that in the chat. My name is Ruach, and my contact number is 876-812-1141. Please feel free to reach out to me. It is part of our mandate as the Secretariat here in Jamaica to assist people with information, inform them, and encourage registrations. So we're here to help you to create your account. If you choose to do it on your own, currently the platform is undergoing upgrade. It should be live. I think it is live now. But if when you attempt to create your account, it is not live, please reach out to us. It will be live shortly thereafter. We are doing some major upgrades now because we have reached. Hello. We have. Are you able to hear me? We have
Yes.
surpassed the limit of persons that we've gone over 2 million subscribers, account holders. And so major upgrade is necessary, and that is happening now. All right, so to create your account, you will need a few things. It is just like creating any other online banking account. You will need your proof of ID, valid email and address, a telephone number, profile picture that is used on the account, in addition to some other items, especially if you are creating your business account. All right, so once you have those things in place, you can go through the process of creating your individual account or your business account. At the end of the process, it will ask for a 16-digit referral number. We are using currently our own referral number to persons who wish to create their account. What that referral number says is that we know you and we have recommended you to the platform. And once you reach out to myself or to Rose, who is part of our team, Rose Bereaf, we will pass that number on to you. All right. Just so that you know, the stimulus program is available to anyone from 12 years old and upwards. And you can therefore register everyone in your family. Each account will receive the stimulus. In addition, you can also create your business accounts. Business accounts benefit from additional incentives, which include lines of credit. We want to encourage Black businesses. We understand that COVID has affected us all in various ways. And so 0% lines of credit have been made available to those persons who are in business and choose to open their business account. So first, business accounts will receive the monthly stimulus of 6.62 Lumi. You will also be able to access lines of credit, the first one being 10,000 US dollar equivalent in Lumi line of credit that you can then use to purchase stock, pay salary, utilities, whatever it is that your current need is for your business, you can use that line of credit. It is a revolving line of credit, which means if you use it today and repay it tomorrow, it becomes available to you again. This line of credit remains in place also until September 2022. I'm sorry, 2023. We'll be looking at where we have reached in the journey by that time next year to determine whether we want to extend the offer for both registering for your wallet and benefiting from the various types of stimuluses that are available. I should also let you know that to create your business account, some additional information will be needed. Your business address and telephone number, email address for the business, contact person for the business, proof of business registration, those types of things. Once you reach out to myself or Rose, we will share that information with you. And if you choose to head to the website and do it on your own, as you go through the application process, the things that you need will be, you'll see the things that you need on each landing page, all right? Other opportunities exist for establishing businesses using Lumi. We have a grant funding program. It means if you have a project that you have always dreamt of initiating, but never could because you didn't have the resources, we are prepared to fund those projects. Whatever the dream is, as big as you can dream it, we are prepared to fund it in Lumi. Currently, we are looking at projects in all types of areas: agriculture, construction, communication, transportation. And so to benefit from that, individuals need only to fill out a business interest form that we have on hand and we'll give to you as soon as you let us know of your interest. And provide us with a brief outline of the project that you have in mind and its budget. Submit that to us so that it can go through our vetting, and we will reach out to you to take the process to its conclusion and to funding. It is our goal, once we're past 2023, to empower as many ambitious thinkers, dreamers, creators, business persons, and entrepreneurs as possible. I think I'm out of time. I think I have spent my 10 minutes. And so again, I will pause. And before I go, I would just thank Dr. Derek for inviting me to share with you this evening. My contact information is in the chat, and I believe Dr. Derek would also have it. Please feel free to reach out to me. If there are any other questions, I'm here. And I return the mic to Ray. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison, very much for that information. Awesome. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Any last minute questions from Ms. Harrison? Did Mr. Harry ever show Dr. Derek? Did he come? He may be having connection problems also, because I think he's in Africa also.
Yes, quite possible, you know.
Right.
And all of that will soon be addressed with our Wi-Fi platform.
Right.
All of that will soon be addressed, and also with our OConnect platform, that this company that we are all a part of, ONPASSIVE, which deals with everything that is digital. So instead of we are on Zoom, in a few weeks, we will have OConnect. And of course, OConnect is using the WebRTC technology, which most webinars platform don't have, because it's hard to really change from a third-party platform to a straight browser-to-browser platform. It's next to difficult and impossible. Well, not impossible, but next to difficult. And so our OConnect webinar platform will actually be having that type of technology with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So when I'm speaking in English, people from China can hear in Chinese, people from Africa can hear in their various languages. So all of that will soon be in place. Testing it's on the way, and the CEO will look at it on Tuesday. No, not Tuesday, on Thursday, the 3rd of February. That's a couple of days from now. So just be patient. We are still in pre-launch, so just be patient. And go ahead, go back to you again, Lily Lane.
Thank you so much, Dr. Derek. I just love the way you break it down. You make it so easy to understand. Thank you so much. And again, we want to thank Ms. Harrison. We want to thank Dr. Foster. We want to thank everyone who participated this afternoon on the program. This actually is our official presentation.